So to track your meals in the Trainerize app, we're going to hit the yellow plus button as usual to get started. From there, we're going to select the meal option. This is going to take us to a page where it's going to ask for camera access. You can allow the camera access if you like to take a photo of your food. You can take a snap of the food and then it will take you to the next step. If you don't want to take a snap of the food, don't do that. Just click on skip photo, and that's going to take us straight into the next step. So this is where we search for the food items individually. So if you're having a specific meal that you've just made up yourself, this is where you come to enter it in. So we start with this search bar up here. You can also use the barcode scanner. So if you're having any products, say like a canned tuna that has a barcode on it, or anything with a barcode, you can scan that barcode and it will detect that particular food item. But it's just as easy to do a manual search for the particular food item, and then that will come up there in the search bar. Once you put in what you're searching for, so in this case, I've typed in chicken breast, then it's really important that we get the serving sizes right. So what we want to do is click on this button here where in blue, it will say cup chopped or diced, or some of the other options might be Oz for ounces, or grams, or it might just say serving. And so the accuracy of this is really important. So when you're measuring out chicken breast or any kind of meat product, it's always going to be via grams. So what you want to do is click on this button here and then change it to grams. So select the G button, and that's going to change that serving suggestion for you from cup chopped or diced to grams. Once you've done that, you can see now it says G. So now you enter in how many grams that you will be logging or you'll be eating. So let's say, for example, we're doing 200 grams. Once you type that in, it's going to change the calories to what 200 grams of that chicken breast is, which in this case, it's 330 calories. Once you're happy with all that, you select this button, which will be a yellow, it will be a plus button, and it will turn into a tick. Once you've got the item ticked, that means you're about to log it. So the next step is to review. So you click on this review button up here. And then when you do that, it's going to take you to the next page. And in this next page, it's just the review meal. So this is where you can add more food options here and go through that same process again. You can just double check everything looks right. And you also select whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack. So once you've selected whatever that is, in this case, it's lunch, then you can go ahead and press the log button in the top right-hand corner. What that's going to do is now actually log that food for your day. So it'll take you back to your home page, and what you'll see now, it will say 1 meal added instead of daily nutrition goal. And you'll also notice that now the calories go from 0 to 330, the protein goes from 0 to 62 grams, carbs stay at 0 because there's no carbs in chicken breast, and fat goes to 7 grams. Okay, so if you click on 1 meal added, it's going to take us into further detail of what that food is that you've logged for the day. And here you can see that we've logged lunch, chicken breast, 200 grams, 330 calories. If you need to make any edits or modifications, it's these three buttons here. So if you click on those three buttons, it'll bring up a pop-up where you can have all of these options. So you can hit the delete button on it if you're changing your mind and you're not eating that. You can add more food. You can save it to favorites, copy it to another day in the calendar. Say you're going to eat the same thing tomorrow. You can just copy it over to tomorrow as well. And you can change the meal type, meaning change it from lunch to a dinner or a snack or a meal. Or a breakfast rather. So once you've done that, you can also just have a look at your numbers by clicking on this details button here. This just goes into further detail and it starts to generate this graph where you can actually track your progress along the way to see how far you have to go to reach your calories and macros. So you can see here for calories, the goal is 1800 in this particular case, and it's different for everybody. And so after the 330 calories of chicken breast gets logged, it's telling us that we have 1,470 remaining. The protein goal is 135. We've got 73 grams remaining. Carbs is 90, still got 90 remaining. And then the fat is 100 grams with 93 remaining. And we've got a nice little distribution chart here as well. So it just gives you your data at a quick snapshot and shows you where you're at. So now there's also recipes in the app that you can use if you don't want to log your food manually. So if you just want to follow any of these recipes, here's how you would do it. So from your homepage, you would click on the little meals icon, which is down here to the bottom right. And then it's going to take you to the meal plan page. So you're going to have recipes here, usually a breakfast, lunch, and dinner option. And what's important to note is that this isn't a preset plan for you. You can modify this with the massive list of recipes that are available to you. So the way we do that is via this button here. So this is the swap button. So you can see here we have a recipe that is a steak hash low carb, and but you might not want to eat that for breakfast. So by clicking on this button, what that will do is bring up the full breakfast menu. Now, the full breakfast menu has over 100 different recipe options. So this is what that page would look like. And so you can even search for certain recipe meals if there's ones that you like. So what you would do if you wanted to swap out a recipe, you literally just click on whichever one sounds interesting to you, and then you'll have a swap button. So here I've selected the smoked salmon bagel, and then you can see we've got the swap button up here. So I just click on that swap button, and then what will happen is it will just switch that out, and it will just change your meal plan for you. Okay, so if I just go back to um, this next page coming along here. So that bagel would then switch out for this steak hash. And you can do that for the lunch menu and also the dinner menu. So you have hundreds and hundreds of recipes that you can choose from. And there's a handy little button up here. This is your shopping list button. So once you've selected and swapped out the meals and figured out exactly what you want to eat, then you can click on this button and it will generate a shopping list for you. Now that will generate it based on 7 days or 5 days, 4, 3, 2, or 1, whatever you want, you can choose. And it will populate a list of items that you need to do for your groceries to make sure that you have everything that you need for these recipes. So that makes life a little easier for you as well. And then when you are eating recipes from the plan, instead of manually entering them in the way we did with the chicken breast, all you need to do is click on this Eat Today button, and then that would log the entire meal with all of its ingredients. It'll track all the calories and macros for you, and it will log it in as a meal eaten for the day.